great new day to my self-care family and friends. Welcome back to the Room2Breathe Podcast. I'm your host, Life Coach 614, and I am so glad that you are here with us today. Before we jump into today's episode, just a quick reminder. If you're enjoying the vibe, show us some love by tapping the screen, liking, commenting, and even sharing our live. Your support helps us to reach more incredible souls on their healing journey. And if we're not already connected, go ahead and hit that follow and subscribe button so that way you never miss out on a moment of what's coming next. I also invite you to visit our website at theselfcareclub.org. We've got some awesome affirmative apparel, motivational merch, and a bunch of free resources designed just for you. It's all about empowering yourself and embracing your journey. No matter what challenges you're facing, remember that you're not alone on this path. You're in this together, supporting and uplifting each other every step of the way. It's time for us to choose to prioritize our well-being, to embrace our growth, and find peace in this present moment. So let's get ready to breathe, reflect, and grow together. And don't forget, the green hearts in the chat represent our commitment to healing, growth, and intentional self-care. So if something resonates with you today, be sure to drop a green heart and let us know that you're tuned in, tapped in, and growing with us. Now, let's get into it. We are constantly hearing the phrase that it takes a village, right? It takes a village to raise a child, or it takes a village to build a community, right? But what happens if that village is toxic? Let's just dive right into it, right? Because there's really no way around it. Sometimes the villages that we are born into are simply toxic, right? And I'm going to make sure I say this slow enough for the people in the back, right? The ones that are still trying to survive in the room that they were raised in. So again, they say it takes a village to raise a child. But what happens when that village is filled with pain, silence, secrets, shame, survival mode, right? Manifesting stability, welcome in. Let's just talk about it today, right? Thank you. We grow up being told that, right? We're taught at a very early age that blood is thicker than water. Your community is your backbone. No one ever really explains to you what happens with family that bully. They're the first ones to bully you, first ones to hurt you, right? When your community is the first place that you've learned to dim your light just to feel safe. Welcome in, Kale. What about when the people that you called auntie and uncle and cousin, right? Or your elders within the family were carrying unhealed trauma so loud for generations? What about that? So we're going to get into it today because the truth is many of us are trying to heal the very places. Many of us are trying to heal in the very places that broke us. And that ain't working anymore, right? I remember being young and confused about why I felt anxious in rooms where I was supposed to feel love. I didn't have a language for it back then, but my body knew that something was wrong, right? My nervous system knew that something was wrong. My stomach would turn before I walked into certain houses. My heart began racing before I even started speaking up at the dinner table. Like growing up, can you remember being laughed at for being too sensitive? Silenced for asking too many questions? Or saying no to something that just didn't sit right with you? See, at a time in life was my village. They dressed the pain up in tradition and called it our culture. They put trauma on a plate and passed it around like it was a Sunday dinner. And we're now just starting to realize how much of that toxic mess that we swallowed, how much of it that we held in, how much of it we internalized. What up, Tip? But baby, listen, you can't heal what you keep pretending doesn't hurt. And I had reached a point in my life when I was just tired of digesting the mess. I didn't like it. It didn't taste good. It didn't feel good. And I had to learn that love without safety is not love. So let's get all the way real today, y'all. Because sugarcoating it is what kept us stuck in the first place. So I'm going to say it again. Love without safety is not love. Hey, Nicole, welcome back, girl. Love without safety is not love. And, we're taught to accept crumbs. We are taught at a very early age to just take what they give us, to endure the disrespect. Right? And they tell you to do this all in the name of family. It's family. That's your elder. You just take it. And, we're taught to stay very close, or to stay in close proximity to people just because we share the same blood. Even when that bloodline is bleeding us dry. And I get it. It's complicated. Right? It's complicated. There's guilt. There's history. There's that, hey, how are you kind of culture. There's religion. There's tradition. But let me offer you a new lens. Tradition without transformation is recycled trauma. Love should not leave you gasping for air. Love shouldn't punish you for having boundaries. Love shouldn't make you feel small just so someone else can feel more powerful. So no, you're not wrong for needing distance from people. You're not mean for saying, I don't feel safe here. You're not broken for struggling with the idea of cutting people off, even though they're the ones who raised you, but they never really protected you. What you are is healing. And healing requires truth. Absolute truth, like undeniable, can't get around it. This is the truth. Toxic love trains us to abandon ourselves. And for years, some of us grew up learning that, learning to accept the love from other people simply by abandoning ourselves. Right? Because we're taught that love means sacrifice. So we keep sacrificing our peace, our needs, our voice, our dreams, even our sanity sometimes, just to feel accepted. We learn to read moods like weather reports, right? Is today a good day to speak up? Or is it going to cause a storm? We've spent years minimizing our pain just so it doesn't disrupt the dysfunction that is already happening around us. We wore masks to survive rooms that should never have felt like home. But survival is not the same as safety. And silence is not the same as peace. You can't build a healed life on a foundation of just don't make them mad. Just don't piss them off, right? You can't grow in that environment. And there's a really hefty cost of loyalty to dysfunction, right? And I honestly feel like that's the real heartbreak in all of it. Because many of us stayed in toxic dynamics, not because we wanted to, but because we were trained to. So if you've ever found yourself just in a toxic relationship, you weren't in it because you wanted to be. You have been trained to be there, right? Trained to be the peacemaker, trained to be the strong one, trained to be grateful for anything that anyone gives you that resembles love. Even when it came laced with control, comparison, or guilt. We've inherited roles that we never signed up for. And when you finally start healing, when you start peeling back those layers, it's confusing, right? It's painful. It's lonely. Because people don't just resist your boundaries, they resist you becoming. See, they like you better when you keep the peace, when you just laugh it off, when you said yes, even when your soul was screaming no. They like you better when you kept showing up, even if it meant you were shrinking the whole time. But baby, listen, healing will cost you your compliance. You can't comply and heal. And I promise you, that is a price worth paying. So let's be clear about it. We have to learn the difference between real love, between real love and familiar pain. Because I feel like some of us cloud it, right? Real love challenges you, but it doesn't confuse your worth. Real love says, I may not understand your boundaries, but I respect them. Real love makes room for your no, not just your yes. And if no one has told you lately, let me take a moment to say this loud and clear. You do not have to choose between love and peace. You never have to choose between love and peace. You can have both. If it costs you your peace, if it makes you question your value, if it punishes your growth, it's not love. They always say if it costs you your peace, it's too damn expensive, right? That's not love. That is emotional control. And each and every one of you who can hear the sound of my voice needs to understand that you deserve connections where you don't have to earn your rest, where you don't have to prove your pain, where you don't have to fight to be seen. You deserve relationships that feel like an exhale, not exhaustion. And there comes a point in your life when you start to outgrow your village, right? And I think that this is something that is so sacred and soul shifting. It can be scary sometimes. But there again comes a moment where you realize you've outgrown your village. The moment when conversations feel hollow, the laughter doesn't hit the same, the inside jokes start to feel like cages, and the rooms that you once called home now echo silence because the version of you that used to live there has evolved. Outgrowing your village, contrary to what they try to tell you, is not arrogance. It's not betrayal. It is not forgetting where you came from, even though oftentimes we should and we want to, right? But outgrowing your village is remembering who you really are. Because here's the truth that nobody tells you when you're on your healing journey. Growth will separate you. Not because you're better, but because you're becoming. When you start choosing peace over people pleasing, when you start using your voice instead of swallowing the pain, when you when you stop attending every single argument that you've been invited to, when you start healing out loud because you started setting boundaries that feel like walls to the people who benefited from your silence, you are going to shift and you're going to feel that shift. And yeah, it's going to hurt at first. You're going to grieve the comfort of community. You're going to find yourself asking the question, am I doing too much? Have I changed too much? Hey, Queen, welcome in, Miss Sherry. You're going to miss the ease of familiar dysfunction, even though you know it was destroying you. Because if we're being honest, toxic villages don't always look like villains. Sometimes they look like Sunday dinners at grandma's house. It's group chats, it's childhood memories, it's the people who loved you, but only when you played small. See, there comes a point in your healing where comfort becomes too expensive. You start realizing that peace isn't found in staying where you've always been, but it's found in honoring where your spirit is called to go. And not everybody can come with you. Some people love the version of you that didn't have boundaries. Some people could only reach you when you were in survival mode. Some people feel safest when you're silent. But you've done too much work to go back now. You've cried too many tears, prayed too many prayers, journaled too many pages, and held your inner child through too many dark nights to shrink back into the village that no longer fits who you're becoming. And listen, it doesn't mean these people are evil. It just means you're evolving. There's a difference between disloyalty and divine redirection. And sometimes God will let the village feel tight so you finally stop trying to fit into it. He's trying to free you from it. They serve their purpose, and it's time to move on, right? And there's this strange stretch of road when you're on this journey. It's where you've left the old village behind, but you haven't found your new village yet. That's the hard part. Because it's quiet, it's awkward, it's the stage where your phone stops ringing, where the invitations dry up, where you walk alone more than you've expected. But don't confuse loneliness with being lost. You're not lost. You're simply in the sacred middle, the cocoon phase of your evolution. You are becoming. And in this space, God is making room for the new you. Your new friendships, your new alignment, your new soul connections. People who don't just remember the old you, but respect the healed you. And yeah, Ro, you're right. Sometimes God makes things so uncomfortable, you have no choice but to move. Right? You've got no choice. You're not meant to spend your life proving your worth to people who never learned how to value you in the first place. You're meant to build a village that mirrors your values. A village that doesn't just see your light, but they also help to protect it. So when you finally start, attracting people who love you in your alignment, not attachment, people who honor you and your no just as much as your yes, who celebrate your healing, not just your hustle, you realize why you had to leave. What up, TD? You'll start to realize why you had to let go of them. You'll begin to see the difference between a village that tolerates your growth and one that nurtures it. And I promise you, when you find even just one soul deep connection where you don't have to shrink, where you don't have to explain yourself, where you don't have to justify your boundaries, it'll make all of those lonely nights worth it. So again, if you're listening right now and this is you feeling the ache of outgrowing the only village that you've ever known, I want you to know this. You are not crazy. You are not alone. You are not wrong for choosing peace over proximity. You are just walking into your next level. And sometimes the only way to elevate is to separate. You've got to take your time. You need to grieve. You need to rest. You need to reflect. And only when you are ready, you begin to build. Build a village that feels like a breath of fresh air, that speaks your language, that honors your boundaries, your brilliance, and your becoming. You deserve a new village. You build that village. So if you're saying, okay, what now? I began separating myself from all the toxic energy, but what now? What do I do now? You build a new village. You build a village that sees you. One that doesn't, require you to prove your worth. One where healing isn't judged, it's celebrated. One where rest isn't earned, it is expected. One where your voice is not too loud, where your feelings are not too much, and your boundaries are not debatable. You create space, or you go find it. And if you don't know where to start here. The Self-Care Club can be the beginning of that new village for you. This is your village now. And Room to Breathe is not just a podcast, right? It's our sanctuary here in the Self-Care Club community. It's where the black sheep of the family become shepherds. It's where cycle breakers find their rhythm. It's where the too sensitive people learn to turn that sensitivity into strength. And listen, I don't even know where to begin. When thinking about the whole village being toxic, the village being tainted, right? I know that we don't get to choose the family we have, right? We're born into these families. We're bred within these families. And so I know, like, when I just think about family, period, right? And thinking that the families that we were given at birth being the source or the root of our very traumatic lives, that's not a light thing to think about. But being a person who is deep into her healing journey, I know that healing isn't pretty. It's not easy. It really takes courage to name the pain. It takes strength to unlearn what you were raised to believe was normal. It takes deep, radical love to walk away from anything that no longer honors your growth. Even if it carries the same last name as you. Even if it's all wrapped into your childhood memories. But you're not here to carry what your soul was never meant to hold. Yeah, you got to name the pain. You're not here to remain stuck in cycles just because they feel familiar. God put you here to evolve. Great New Day, Blue. Welcome in, love. You are here to heal loud. You are here to reclaim the parts of yourself that once had to hide in order to survive. And listen, I know it hurts to admit some of the people who claim to love us didn't know how to love us in healthy ways. Mom did the best that she could. Grandma did the best that she could. Right? So it is hard for us to admit that some of the people who claim to love us didn't know how to love us in a healthy way. Right? It's lonely for us to step out of the dysfunction when everyone else seems so comfortable in it. But again, I want to remind you, there's nothing wrong with you. You're not too much. What you are now is too aware, right? You've woke up. What up, mob boss? And we're too awake to go back to sleep now, right? That's not your burden. That's your breakthrough. So if you've been grieving the idea of the village that never showed up for you, grieve it, mourn it, and release it. But don't stop there. Don't stop at the loss, because after the grief comes grace. After the silence, there's a song. After the ache, there's alignment. You get to choose what healing looks like. You get to build your own version of a village. One that feels like freedom, one that sounds like truth, and one that moves at the pace of your peace. So whether your new village is 3 soul deep friends, your village might be a podcast that speaks your language, a therapist who gets it, or simply showing up for yourself in a way that you never have before, all of that counts. That is sacred, and that's enough. And it's enough because you are enough. And just because the old village couldn't see your light doesn't mean that it wasn't worth shining. So let this be your permission to keep glowing. Let this be your reminder that you're worthy of a community that doesn't confuse love with control. You're worthy of rest. You are worthy of boundaries. You are worthy of a soft life, even if you were raised in the hard places. You don't owe your healing to anyone who made you feel like you had to earn your love. You owe it to the little girl in you, the little boy in you, who sat quietly in the corner wondering if anybody would ever understand them. Guess what? I understand you. I see you. And I'm walking this journey with you. I'm healing day by day. So until the next time we meet, self-care family, keep doing the inner work. Keep protecting your peace. Keep surrounding yourself with people who water your growth and celebrate your boundaries. And remember, even if the old village couldn't love you the way that you deserved, you're building a new one now. One that feels like home. I love y'all. I'm proud of y'all. And I encourage you to continue to grow through all the things that you had to go through. For all the roles that you had to play that you didn't sign up for. Keep doing the work. Keep growing. Now, as we wrap up today's episode, I want to say thank you for taking this time to join us today. If you've enjoyed our time together, be sure to give us a follow, subscribe to our channel, so you'll never miss out on our latest content. And remember, if you're interested in being a featured voice on our podcast, we'd love to hear from you. Reach out to us to discuss this further and schedule your recording session. And don't forget to visit our website at theselfcareclub.org. There you can book a personalized one-on-one coaching session. We also have affirmative apparel and other motivational merch, including our Room2Breathe music, as well as a treasure trove of free resources designed just for you. If you are looking to elevate your self-care game, or you just want to find a little extra inspiration to help you get through the day, know that we got you covered. I thank each and every one of you for being a part of our Self-Care Club community. We welcome you into our village, and I am so excited to connect with you all again soon. But until next time, I encourage you to keep breathing, stay positive, and remember that you will always be supported here at the Self-Care Club. So don't be afraid to take up space and make a little room for you to breathe. I pray that you all have an amazing day on purpose, filled with nothing but purpose, and we'll connect again soon. Thank you. I found my room to breathe.